My name is Margaret. 8 years ago, I lost my baby at birth. My husband, in fear, arranged for me to be given another child, Phoebe, whose mother had just died. I did not know. I never asked. I only loved. If this is a crime, then charge me. But Phoebe is my daughter. Not by blood, but by every moment I held her, fed her, kissed her, protected her. I can't afford to lose her. She was kidnapped 2 nights ago by a doctor called Maligu, who once worked at Purity Home Maternity, and he had promised to kill her if I failed to grant his request, which is my investments, my sweats, Marga Homes. There is no assurance that he would return my daughter even if I grant his request, because he already sent a picture of my daughter to me, where my daughter's pinky was cut. Please, Nigerians, help me, fight for Phoebe, please.
The phone rang at 2:17 a.m. Margaret stared at the screen. Unknown number. Her heart pounded. She didn't answer. It rang again and again. On the 5th ring, she picked up. Silence. Then a whisper. "We have Phoebe. If you want her back alive, you'll do exactly as we say." The line went dead. Margaret dropped the phone. Her hand shook. Phoebe, her only child, her 8-year-old daughter, was gone. She went to her room, and the bedroom door was open. The bed was empty. The window was slightly ajar. No note, no noise, just silence. Margaret screamed, but no one came. The security guard was fired a few months ago due to his lackadaisical behavior, and she hasn't gotten a new one. The CCTV system was offline. Someone had planned this well. She ran through the house, checking every room, shouting her daughter's name. Nothing. She called the police, then Corriday, her most trusted friend and business partner. Within 20 minutes, sirens wailed through the quiet Leckie estate. Officers swarmed the compound. They found a small red hairband near the kitchen window. It was Phoebe's favorite. Margaret collapsed on the floor, clutching it to her chest. The lead detective, Inspector Fatima, asked questions, but Margaret could barely speak. All she could think was, who would do this, and why? She had money, yes. Billions in real estate and tech. But she lived quietly. She avoided the spotlight. She didn't parade her wealth. So why now? Why her child? Then the second call came. Same number. A distorted voice. No police. No media. If you follow the rules, she comes home. If not, you'll find her in pieces. The call ended. Margaret looked at Inspector Fatima. "Please, tell the officers to leave. I'll handle this my way," she said, voice trembling but firm. Fatima hesitated, but nodded. The officers pulled back, but began an underground investigation. Margaret was alone with her fear, her phone, and the crushing weight of a mother's worst nightmare. Margaret had not always been rich. She grew up in a small town called Akinji. She studied hard, won a scholarship to study engineering in Scotland, and returned to Nigeria with big dreams. She started small, renovating old buildings in Lagos. Within 10 years, she built Marga Homes, one of the fastest growing real estate firms in West Africa. But success came at a cost. Her husband Tunde couldn't handle her rise. He left when Phoebe was 3, chasing a younger woman in Benin City. Margaret raised her daughter alone, working long hours but never missing school plays or birthdays. Phoebe was her world, smart, kind, and full of life. She loved drawing, dancing, and asking endless questions. Every night she would say, "Mommy, tell me about the stars." And Margaret would smile and say, "One day we'll build a house under them." Now that dream felt shattered. The next call came at dawn. "Bring 50 million naira, unmarked notes, no tracking devices. You'll get instructions in 1 hour." Margaret didn't hesitate. She had the money.
She kept emergency cash in a safe behind her bedroom wall. She opened it, counted the bundles, and packed them in a black duffel bag. Correde arrived, worried. "Margaret, this is dangerous. Let the police handle it." She shook her head. "They said no police. I can't risk Phoebe." Correde sighed. "Then I'm coming with you." Margaret agreed. They waited for a few hours. Then another message came. "Drive to the old railway bridge on Maitama Road, park under the arch, leave the bag, walk away. You'll hear from us." Margaret's hands were cold. She drove herself. Correde sat beside her, silent. The city was waking up. Trucks rumbled, beggars waved, but Margaret saw none of it. Her mind was on Phoebe. Was she scared? Was she hurt? When they reached the spot, she parked, placed the bag where instructed, and walked back. No one was there. No movement, just wind and dust. Then her phone buzzed. "Good, but we need more. 200 million. Next drop in 12 hours. Same rules. Fail, and she dies." Margaret hardly breathes. She paced her living room, eyes red, mind racing. 200 million was a lot, but she could get it. The real fear was, what if they kept asking? What if they never returned Phoebe? Correde suggested a tracker. "We can hide a GPS in the money bag." Margaret shook her head. "They'll search it. They're professionals." Then Inspector Fatima called. "We've checked the CCTV from nearby shops. We saw a white van near your house that night. Plate number partially visible. We're tracing it." Margaret felt a spark of hope. "Please find it." But she didn't tell her about the ransom. Not yet. She couldn't risk it. That night she prepared the second drop. This time she added a tiny camera inside a folded note, something Correde got from a spy contact. It was risky, but she had to know who these people were. The drop was at a deserted petrol station in Orameji. Margaret left the bag and walked away. Minutes later, her phone rang. "You tried to trick us?" Her blood froze. "We saw the device. You lose one finger for that. Say goodbye to your daughter's pinky." The line went dead. Margaret screamed. She called back, but the line was disconnected. She fell to her knees. Correde held her. "It's a bluff," he said. "They won't hurt her. They need her alive." But Margaret wasn't sure. The next message came with a photo. Phoebe, blindfolded, tied to a chair. Her hand was visible. The little finger on her left hand was cut, so Margaret thought, but it was all an edited picture. Margaret sobbed. She wanted to die. But then she saw something in the photo. The wall behind Phoebe. A faded poster. She zoomed in. It read, "St. Mary's Orphanage, Reopening Ceremony, March 2021. She knew that place. It had been shut down years ago and abandoned, in the middle of a forest outside Abuja. She showed it to Correde and called Inspector Fatima. "They're holding her at St. Mary's Orphanage, the old building." After carrying out a thorough investigation of the CCTV footage, Inspector Fatima confirmed it. The white van was registered to a man named Ade, a known small-time thief with links to a gang in Suleja. He had a brother, Bode, who once worked as a cleaner at Margaret's first office building, fired for stealing. Margaret remembered him. He was always quiet, bitter, and watching. Could he be behind this? Inspector Fatima moved fast. Plainclothes officers staked out known hideouts. Margaret wanted to go herself, but Correde stopped her. "You can't. They're watching. If they see you, they'll kill her." So she waited and prayed. The police moved into the old orphanage building and raided the place, but it was empty. Just a chair, ropes, and a drop of blood. Phoebe was gone. Margaret felt the world spin. Another call. "You're getting close. That's bad for your daughter." The voice was colder now. "Final payment. 500 million, or she dies at midnight." Margaret didn't respond. She was thinking. Why the sudden rise in money? Why move her? And why leave clues? It didn't make sense. Then Correde noticed something. The first drop was 50 million, then 200, now 500. But the pattern. It's not about money. It's about time. They're stalling. Margaret's eyes widened. They don't want the money. They want something else. But what? That night, she had a dream. Phoebe, standing in a dark room, whispering, "Mommy, they keep saying you didn't give birth to me." Margaret woke up sweating. What did that mean? She called Tunde. He answered, surprised. "Margaret? What's wrong?" She didn't waste time. "Why did you kidnap my daughter? And what did they mean when they said I didn't give birth to my own child?" Silence. Then a long breath. "Margaret, I did not kidnap our daughter. I do not know anything about it. But I need to tell you the truth." Her heart stopped. "Years ago, at the hospital, your baby didn't survive. She died minutes after birth." Margaret froze. "What?" "I couldn't tell you. You were weak and bleeding. The doctor said you might not make it if you lost hope. So I begged Dr. Maligu to give us another baby, one whose mother had just died in childbirth. He agreed. We swapped them. No one knew. Not even the nurses. I gave him money, but he rejected it. He said he wasn't happy with his actions. You woke up, holding Phoebe, and I told you she was yours." Margaret couldn't breathe. "All these years, I've been raising someone else's child?" "No," Tunde said. "You're her real mother in every way that matters." But Dr. Malibu, he kept the records. He said one day he might need it. "Hold on. Did you just say our daughter has been kidnapped?" Tunde gasped. "How? Dr. Maligu kidnapped her?" "I don't know," Margaret shouted as she cried out and hung up the call. She sat in silence, her whole life built on a lie, but not a lie of her making. Then her phone rang. Same unknown number. A calm voice this time. No distortion. "Now you know. I'm Dr. Maligu." Tunde had called him to confirm if he was the stranger who kidnapped their daughter, and he didn't deny it. Now he called Margaret. "I saved your marriage. I gave you peace. And how was I repaid? I was stripped of my license and kicked out of the hospital for doing what others did in silence. So now I take back what I gave you." Margaret's voice was cold. "Where is my daughter? Point of correction, she is not your daughter. She is with me. And if you tell anyone, if you go to the police, I will release the records to the world. I will make them know that Phoebe isn't yours, that she was stolen, and they'll take her from you forever." Margaret's hands shook. She called Korede and told him everything. He was shocked, but he didn't judge. "He's using your love against you." But he forgot one thing. Phoebe chooses you. No paper can change that. Margaret knew what she had to do. She called Maligu back. "What exactly do you want?" He laughed. "It's not about money. It's about control. And it's a simple request. I want Marga Holmes." "What?" Margaret shouted in shock. "Are you insane? You mean I should give you all my life investments? You are a doctor, so what do you need it for? If you want a building for a hospital, I will build you one, but my investments?" Maligu giggled. "Did you just call me a doctor to mock me?" Then his tone changed, rising in intensity. "I just told you my license was withdrawn from me after helping you that year, and I can no longer work in that field. I want Marga Holmes. I have a brother who can manage it for me. Give all your wealth and have Phoebe to yourself, or I go public." Margaret said nothing. Then she whispered, "You don't know mothers. A real mother doesn't fight for herself. She fights for her child. I'm not losing my daughter to you, nor my investments, no matter what." She hung up the call. That night, Margaret did something bold. She recorded her confession. Sitting in her bedroom, she spoke to the camera. "My name is Margaret. 8 years ago, I lost my baby at birth. My husband, in fear, arranged for me to be given another child, Phoebe, whose mother had just died. I did not know. I never asked. I only loved. If this is a crime, then charge me. But Phoebe is my daughter. Not by blood, but by every moment I held her, fed her, kissed her, protected her. I can't afford to lose her. She was kidnapped 2 nights ago by a doctor called Maligu, who once worked at Purity Home Maternity, and he had promised to kill her if I failed to grant his request, which is my investments, my sweats, Marga homes. There is no assurance that he would return my daughter even if I grant his request, because he already sent a picture of my daughter to me, where my daughter's pinky was cut. Please, Nigerians, help me, fight for Phoebe, please. She burst into tears and ended the recording. She sent the video to every major news outlet. Then she uploaded it online. Within hours, the story exploded. Maligu panicked. His plan was ruined. The police, already tracking him for other baby swaps, raided his hideout. Phoebe was found in a small room, clutching a drawing she made of her and Margaret under a tree. She was unharmed and none of her fingers were cut. She was brought home. When she saw Margaret, she ran and jumped into her arms. "Mommy!" Again, Margaret burst into tears. Weeps. "You're home, my darling. You're home. Thank you, Lord. Nigerians, I'm grateful." Maligu was arrested. Tunde turned himself in. At Phoebe's school, her friends, her teachers, they stood by her. "She's our Phoebe," one classmate said on TV. "Mommy doesn't have to be by birth."
Hello, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, kindly give it a big thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. And remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our amazing stories. Also, if you enjoy it, share it. Do not enjoy it alone and leave a comment. Until next time, bye.